Hello, everybody. I am Pedro.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Gritty Reboot. Today, we are bringing you the second half of Jumanji.
Well, we're bringing the 2017 Jumanji.
Well, the second half of our show about Jumanji.
Well, yeah, I guess
because we're not covering Zathura.
No.
I brought it up, and you looked at me like I had just delivered the most rank fart in the world.
Well,
it's
I've
like
never
the look you
seen
gave
Zathura,
to me.
but when
It's pretty good.
saw the trailer, I rolled my eyes so hard.
I remember it fondly.
Yeah.
Oh, I just forgot his name. He's the lead in Future Man. He was in Five Nights at Freddy's. He's the main kid in the movie. And Kristen Stewart is his older sister. And this is the same thing. They just get a board game. It's futuristic, sci-fi. And they go into a sci-fi world. And I think it's a better movie than Jumanji. I don't think it's a better movie than this Jumanji. I just want that to be stated right now.
Yeah.
So listen, if you are not down my Zathura hot takes, I want you to let me know that. And the easiest way to do that, first off, is Gritty Reboot at Instagram and TikTok. And, of course, grittyRebootcast@gmail.com is where you can email us, send us really anything you want. You want to send us a longer clip or anything like that, or really any kind of link you maybe want us to talk about, like a YouTube video, just send it, we'll talk about it.
No dick pics.
No dick pics. No dick pics. No, we won't respond.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll respond. But yeah, so anyway, today we're taking a look at Jumanji, which was probably the unlikeliest reboot. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
No kidding.
This wasn't one that I really saw coming. And I remember when I first saw the promo art for it, and it was the whole cast together, and the internet just went up into a fervor about Karen Gillan, what she's wearing.
Yeah.
And if we haven't seen the movie, I'm sure you can just Google Jumanji Karen Gillan, you'll get pictures. I'm sure you might have seen them on Reddit, but it's a very sort of comic book cliche, video game character cliche.
Yeah, they based it off of Lara Croft.
Yeah, it's almost exactly what Lara Croft wears.
Yeah.
Except different colored. It does look a lot like that. Like I said, everyone went nuts about it, and The Rock told everybody to chill. And it completely works in the movie. It's one of the movie's better jokes.
They call it out.
Yeah, exactly. They call it out. I mean, it is a thing. And honestly, I mean, it was the stereotypical way female characters dressed until about 7 or 8 years ago.
Through part of the movie, she wears a jacket around her waist.
Yeah.
Because she's feeling modest.
Yeah, which I like. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
As I said, this is a surprising remake. When it finally hit, audiences really liked this movie, as well as critics.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I found myself really enjoying it, and I don't have a grand memory of seeing this Jumanji for the first time. I'm pretty sure I just went to go see it in the theater, and I don't really recall anything beyond that. But I will say this about it is this movie was crazy, greasy, successful.
Greasy?
Oh yeah, because this movie makes just shy of $1 billion.
Oh damn.
So as I said, this movie, incredibly successful. It makes $962 million, just shy of $1 billion. And by the way, this is 2017, which was a pretty stacked year. The top 10 of this year, Wonder Woman, which we imagine is a massive hit. Mm-hmm. And it was. That made $822 million. Thor Ragnarok at number 9. Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 7, Wolf Warrior 2. We will talk about that at a later date. 6, Spider-Man Homecoming. And then number 5 is Jumanji. That's some serious competition that Jumanji beats out in 2017.
Yeah.
The only movies to top it were Despicable Me 3 for some reason, The Fate of the Furious, Beauty and the Beast, which was a real phenomenon at that point, and Star Wars The Last Jedi, which I didn't think was the highest grossing movie that year. As I said, this movie made a ton of money and was a massive hit, and people liked it. So we got a sequel a few years later, but as it sits, I still enjoyed this fun movie.
Oh, it was so fun.
This is a good example of a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty light, and it's a very fun movie. And I think you can just, turn your brain off and enjoy most of this when you don't have to turn your brain off. I think it's a solid screenplay.
It's got action too.
Yeah, I think it's a well-written little story. I think the characters mostly have an arc. Bridges just kind of goes away at some point, but that's not important. All the characters work off each other well in both forms. And it's full of fun little action scenes. So I really can't complain about the film at all.
Yeah.
I'm already gushing about it. We haven't got into it.
I know.
Yeah.
We got a ways to go. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
It's 1996, and you hear thumping. A kid finds the game and takes it home. He puts it up to play video games. But then it's late at night, and the kid wakes up to more thumping.
So the one thing that we get introduced to is we are very much carrying the through line and the mythology of the original film.
Mm-hmm.
So this is obviously a reboot, but it is a sequel in some way. We are very much carrying that. We're not getting rid of any of that lore. You know, the movie will lean into it even later on.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does get the original game. I do enjoy the fact that the game is rejected one time and immediately like reboots itself.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really fucked about the reboot is like the kid's playing a PlayStation because it's 1996. That's what you would play.
Mm-hmm.
It reboots itself as like an Atari game, which I found to be so odd. The kind of game console that Jumanji built for itself leaves me with so many questions that I know I will never really get answered.
It's probably some contractual licensing BS.
Well, here's the thing. It's a Sony movie. We know this because Sony's products are all over the film.
Yeah.
That's a hallmark of a Sony movie. And obviously they had to make something here that wasn't Sony-esque or Nintendo-esque. And I think going with Atari might have been the reasoning there. So I think you're sort of on point about why there is this kind of odd design to it.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit strange. The other part that really weirds me out is there are 5 characters, right?
Yeah.
Right? There's the Jonas Brothers, and we have obviously our main 4.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 4 controllers.
That we see.
No, there's only 4 controllers. There's only 4 ports on that thing. Because I went back and I watched that scene on YouTube earlier, and I paused it right there. There's only 4 spots for a controller to go into.
Well, I guess
It was one of those things.
suspension of disbelief.
It's one of those odd things that I noticed as the movie started up. But yeah, the movie does show us that the game reboots itself into a game console.
Yeah. He opens the game and basically a cart falls out.
Yeah.
It's
a cartridge.
Oh, sorry.
Cartridge for the younger uninitiated. We used to hold games on some sort of flash media.
Yeah.
Or some sort of EEPROMs until we had CDs.
Yeah.
And now we just keep them on hard drives. Soon we'll just inject them into our brains.
Yeah, I know.
Straight into the synapse for
Crazy.
Metal Gear 8.
The game turns itself on into a new gaming format.
Yeah.
He plays the game because all you can see is his window and a green glare coming from it.
Which is what we associate with the original film.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did you think this kid looks anything like Colin Hanks?
No.
No, I thought that too.
I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just like age up Nick Jonas?
Well, he's not supposed to be Nick Jonas. That's who he is in the game.
Oh,
yeah. He's supposed to be Colin. Yeah.
God, what an idiot.
Already your concept of the film was wrong.
We meet our high school characters, Spencer, Bethany, the Fridge, and Martha.
So Spencer is the kid from Hereditary. And that's how I will forever and always know him.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to mention that right there. Hereditary is the creepiest / most hilarious film that's been released in the last decade.
I wouldn't call it hilarious.
It is high comedy.
No, it's not.
It is high comedy.
I think you're insane.
Man, when she throws the book into the fire and her husband bursts in the flames, that's comedic timing all the way. Ari Aster is the new Tom Green.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I just got fired off my own show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what just happened here. So, yes. What were we talking about? So, anyway,
Talking about the high school kids.
McCready go. Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
We talked about Spencer, Bethany, Fridge, and Martha. And I'm going to refer to them as those names throughout the rest of my notes.
Yeah, as you should.
Because it gets too crazy if I try to switch back and forth.
Well, the names of the characters, with the exception of Ruby Roundhouse, I don't think really stick.
Yeah.
Except for like Mouse, because that's a joke.
Basically, Spencer's the nerd, Bethany's the popular girl, Franklin is the jock, or the Fridge is the jock, and Martha is the rebel.
Franklin looks like he's got to go pay his mortgage.
Yeah.
Franklin is significantly older.
He is. I think he's the oldest one in the cast.
He looks it.
If I'm not mistaken, in my notes, I have that somewhere.
Yeah, because when Spencer goes to meet him early on, I was like, should he call the police? Who is this adult he's going to meet with in this shady house? So I was like, this is a sex thing? What is going on in this movie?
Wow. You went there.
Yeah, and then it turns out he's supposed to also be a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I'm a teenager too.
No.
No.
Hair's too gray.
Yeah. Fucker's old, is all I'm saying.
Mm.
All right, so what happens next?
Well, Franklin, he gets caught cheating as Spencer wrote his paper.
I think this scene has some good comedy to it.
Yeah.
Because it's all about escalating the level of cheating.
Yeah.
Where, it's like, oh, it could be a coincidence. And she just lays down fact after fact after fact about the similarity between their papers. And it was one of those things. I know somebody told me, he's like, kind of convenient a teacher remembers all that. And I thought to myself, like, well, that's all a teacher does.
Yeah.
Like
reading the same stuff
over and over again. Yeah. If you have to read a kid's writing over, a course of a year. But then again, she wouldn't have had him the year before now, would she?
No, but you still know when somebody's cheating.
Fair enough. He has discovered, this is a fun little sequence. This is how they get detention this day. They only 4 kids in school to get detention.
Yeah, they get
well-behaved school.
Both of them get detention. And that's it. That's pretty good.
As they deserve.
Martha talks back to Missy Pyle, who's the coach.
That's right. Missy Pyle is the coach. I love Missy Pyle.
Bethany refuses to get off her phone in class. All of them end up with detention.
Martha's the worst because she just shames her gym teacher for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's an absolute bitch to her for, like I said, absolutely no reason.
She's the rebel.
Yeah. And she just ends up hurting somebody's feelings. But you can at least show that Martha immediately regrets her decision.
Well, they end up in a basement and spot an old gaming system.
They have to remove staples out of old magazines for recycling.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's a thing.
I guess.
Is that how that works? I don't know.
Because I remove staples from old paperwork all the time, and I just throw the staples away because that's what people do.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're recycling the paper, not the staples.
Okay.
The staples are not the important part of the equation. No one says, oh, man, I need more of those recycled staples.
I thought that's what they were recycling.
They're recycling the paper.
I was like, that's
the paper.
insane.
Yeah, they're recycling the old newspapers. I guess.
Okay, paper makes more sense.
Yes, it makes a lot more sense. I don't know why you could have imagined it the other way. That wasn't really that wasn't an option. Okay. It's fine. It's fine.
All right.
All right.
They hook up an old TV and Jumanji comes on the screen. They all choose their characters.
Yeah, they get to go through this title screen, by the way, which I have to mention, this has to be the only video games character select screen that doesn't have a picture of your fucking character.
Yeah.
Ever. But of course, we can't have that because we have to have the joke that comes in a couple minutes.
They all hear the thumping.
It draws them to the game, as it always does. I guess it doesn't affect adults. We're not really certain, so. I guess not if it's just teachers that have been down there. None of them have heard the call of Jumanji. They just coined a new term.
And then Spencer, slowly but surely, gets sucked into the game.
Yeah, one by one.
Then Martha, Bethany, and finally the fridge.
Yeah.
Is it fridge or just...
I think it's just fridge.
Okay.
I mean, you can call him the fridge, but, that may be his father. You need to be careful about that.
Okay. And fridge.
And fridge. Fridgy.
And then we are plummeted straight into the game and we become the characters.
We have a first person fall sequence as they go through the sky and everything like that.
It's The Rock, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black. Kevin Hart is the fridge, basically.
Yeah, fridge is Kevin Hart.
The
Spencer,
Rock is Spencer.
Is The Rock.
Martha is Karen Gillan.
That's Ruby Roundhouse. She's really the only character names that we have to know.
Yeah.
The Hart's, his name is Mouse, because that's a joke.
Mouse Fubar or something.
Yeah, because Mouse Fubar, because sure, I'll take that. That's my new name, Mouse Fubar. No, what I was saying is, in the character select screen, they misread his name as Moose because the resolution's so low. And that could happen every now and then. They misread it. So he thought he'd be a big guy and said he's Mouse.
Bethany is Jack Black.
Yeah. Jack Black steals the movie. Let's just put it out there right now. All the actors, I think, have a good time with the roles here. But Jack Black really goes for it and absolutely nails it in this movie.
Yeah, because he's playing a teenage, popular girl.
Yeah.
Totally into herself and her phone and all that stuff. And he nails it.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of things in this movie that wouldn't work, namely the penis jokes. And I think they only work, and they barely do, but they only work because of Black's delivery.
Yeah.
And without him, I don't know if this could have worked. I really don't. So like he really does a fantastic job pulling out some of the movie's better jokes, and I think saving it for maybe its more cringy jokes.
Well, we get all of our characters together, and they're basically trying to figure out why, when, where, what happened.
There's a lot of like, who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah. They eventually discover who each other is.
Yeah. Spencer is terrified, so they realize it's him.
Some really great acting and comedy as they freak out about their situation. They all notice they have some bars on their arms.
Yeah, they see a little tattoo on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that is their lives. They
discover this when Jack Black gets eaten by a hippo.
Yeah, this is a straight up like deep blue sea moment. Like it's weird. I don't know how to throw down the pronouns here. But Bethany is just freaking out right there on the shore. Yeah. The hippo just comes in and chews her up. And immediately Jack Black drops right back in again.
Yeah.
So very, very much, 90s game like. The character dies, right back in again. Crash Bandicoot's ready to go.
A car comes by and picks them all up. And it's Nigel. He gives them the lowdown on the game, basically.
So this is an NPC joke, basically.
Yeah.
He's an exposition dump, and he is going to be like an NPC. And I think the NPC joke is one of the better video game jokes in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That when everybody tries to talk to him, he just sort of starts the same phrase, except with the character's name swapped in, which is how an older game like that kind of would have worked. So it's a fun gag. And I think all the actors are game for. I forget who the actor is who plays Nigel here, but he actually is fun as well.
Yeah. Nigel tells them all about Van Pelt and his motives.
None of this matters.
And he's looking for
this is the weakest part of the movie. It's the bad guy.
Yeah, he finds it and controls all the animals in Jumanji. Well, all the vermin, basically, like rodents and creepy crawlies and
the simple-minded animals, I suppose.
Yeah,
because he can't really control the rhinos or humans, obviously.
Yeah.
If he can control humans, he'd be super powerful, but he can't. He just has minions.
Nigel steals the jewel and then gives it to the crew.
Yeah. So I do want to clarify, this flashback isn't the worst part of the movie, the bad guy is. And that's not the fault of the actor. I mean, it's just a super underwritten part.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely inconsequential.
Underwritten as hell.
Nothing he does really matters. I just want to mention it because they do what they should do. They introduce him early, they give him a flashback, they give him a few scenes to, flesh himself out, and none of it really works, because they don't, it's kind of half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
But they do put the time in. And I mention it because in the original film, they do the exact opposite. They do not put the time in. They literally just spawn a bad guy in at like the halfway point of the movie, the hunter.
Yeah.
And he is perfect. He snaps right in as the movie's bad guy and is our chief antagonist that is not the game, right?
Yeah.
And it works. It effortlessly works. And this really isn't. And that's sort of the thing. The adventure itself is the antagonist. I think that's the only real change I would have made in the story and script is to focus more on that as opposed to like having a bad guy. Because it doesn't work. He doesn't even really get like a final fight against the Rock,
Nigel drops them off in the middle of nowhere and hands them a map. And we get some more hilarious jokes. Kevin Hart is great. And
he's doing the Kevin Hart bit. He's doing the Kevin Hart bit, but he has great chemistry, like you said, with The Rock. And the cast really plays off each other very nicely.
It helps when The Rock and Kevin Hart are actually friends in real life.
Yeah. And he's one of those guys that gets a better performance out of The Rock as well. It's very similar to DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger was never the kind of farcer that The Rock can be. The Rock's a far better actor than Arnold ever was.
They all find their attributes.
Yeah, which is a fun scene. They go down their weaknesses. Spencer realizes he has none, and Fridge realizes he has all the weaknesses, and Cake is one of his weaknesses, which is hilarious.
Jack Black reads the map because he's the only one that can, and then soon they're all surrounded by guys on motorcycles with bombs and guns.
So this is a kind of a chaotic sequence right here, and even the way it's shot, this isn't one of the movie's better action scenes, but it does help propel things along.
Yeah.
And just like any video game, it's going to give us a cutscene we have to QuickTime event our way through, which is sort of how I imagine this scene playing out in like the game version.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't make a game.
They did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. It's not very good.
They get chased into the jungle, but they eventually jump off a cliff into a waterfall.
The adventure film cliche that eventually you will be chased by something and run to a cliff over a beautiful waterfall and you'll be forced to jump. Now remember, when you jump, you have to pinch your asshole very tight so that water doesn't shoot right up there. Okay. I'm sorry. I want to defend Club Dread. I listened to other podcasts and they slandered it. And that's one of my favorite jokes from that movie because he says that and they have movie for like 2 or 3 minutes and then they finally jump and the first girl comes up, oh, my ass. and what I loved is when that joke hit in the theater, I was the only person that laughed. It wasn't until like the second viewing that my buddy Matt, who loves Broken Lizard as well, he realized that joke. And those are the little things in that movie that I really enjoy. Sorry, we're not. This isn't the Broken Lizard fan.
But anytime you want to talk about those movies, I'm down.
I just wanted to mention it's one of my favorite. Oh my ass. Okay, let's continue on. So anyway, MacReady is able to find the blood. Okay, sorry.
All right. They come up from the water, and Martha notices she got hit by a bullet, and she dies.
By the way, she just like pink miss when she dies. Yeah. It's a surprise. I mean, it's not a graphic effect, but it is like I said, a bloody mist.
Now she has 2 lives left.
That's all she's got. You know, this is, or at least the way I've always viewed it is, I think the live system is a better antagonist than the actual like bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a really good countdown. Anybody who's ever played a video game really understands that concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's old school. You know, you don't necessarily have lives in games today. You just have unlimited continue. You don't have to start the game again when your lives are over. That's a very old mechanic, but even I think a modern gamer could be familiar with it.
Yeah, 90s gaming.
Yeah, even though, like I said, that kind of gaming is pretty much dead.
Then we go into penis joke territory.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, I feel like this wouldn't work if it wasn't Jack Black doing this gag.
Bethany is shocked about having a penis, but loves peeing.
Yeah, she's really thrilled about it.
Yeah.
As I said, it's played.
I would be too.
It's played. It's played innocently enough to where it doesn't become gross or anything like that.
Oh.
Jack Black's delivery is tone perfect for this joke. And I feel like it's something that might not have worked with another actor or another director. This is Jake Kasdan, by the way. I didn't want to mention that. He directed one of our favorite films, Walk Hard. For me, it killed the musical biopic genre. I cannot take that genre seriously at all because it's such a perfect parody of everything that makes that genre up.
I watched Walk Hard not too long ago.
Yeah. It absolutely is a perfect parody.
Or Walk the Line. Walk the
Line. And that's one of those things when you compare a parody with the film it's sort of mostly directly inspired from.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch Top Gun and then Hot Shots. Even though Hot Shots puts in a lot of things, but Top Gun is like the core of that parody.
We can do an episode on that one time.
Yeah, I wanted to do that parody in the movie they parodied.
Yeah.
It's also where I want to do a movie about a movie like Ed Wood, and then we watch like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Because I just want to watch Plan 9 from Outer Space. And Ed Wood again. I love that movie.
I love that movie.
I don't really love Plan 9 from Outer Space, but I enjoy it. But I love Ed Wood. That's a great fucking film.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, this is not a Tim Burton podcast. Let's continue on.
We are really.
Yeah, I know. We're
all over the place.
We're 7 hours in, and we haven't even gotten to the second act of this film.
Jack Black is great with the character Bethany, and Martha and Bethany have a moment here.
Jack Black's just a delight in anything that he does here.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Spencer and Fridge get in a fight, and Fridge pushes him off a cliff, so he loses a life.
Yeah, they get sort of heated, and that's also some old school video game tactics. You would just kill your friend every now and then.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you just every now and then, hey, fuck you, shoot your friend.
I was killing you all the time in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. That's still one of my favorite memories of playing Left 4 Dead. We were playing, and you're like, oh my God, one of my own teammates been killing me. This AI bot, this one over here, this El Amador. Never mind. Never mind. I don't know who this guy is. I was like, well.
That's because you play guns blazing.
I do.
You tend to get in the way.
That's the way it should always be. Guns blazing. Yeah. It's how I go to the DMV. It's how I play Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
It's worked out pretty well so far.
Well, they find the bazaar and
this is like a bazaar, by the way. Like they're like right in the middle of like a cliche Indiana Jones style like bazaar temple, Raiders of the Lost Ark sort of thing. Because they're like in a desolate jungle before, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, where do those people come from?
Mm-hmm. Fridge does something he's not supposed to do and eats some cake.
And this is really funny because he tries to play it off, where it's just like, I probably can't resist cake. That's what it is. Cake is not really a weakness. See? I just can't boom.
Yeah, he explodes.
He explodes. It's very similar to the end of Ready or Not.
And now they're all
What
even
did
in
it
lives,
go?
so they basically wasted their first life.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what a video game is. You waste it.
A boy NPC shows up and says some riddles and leaves them to basically this room with a basket in the center
Yeah.
with a lid on it. And what's in that basket, you say? A snake.
So I think this leads to one of the movie's better gags, which is where Jack Black believes that the riddle is for
Yeah.
a staring contest. So he's like, just open it. Just open it. So he just stares down the snake and it slowly begins to attack. And he's like, I don't think it's working. And The Rock eventually has to just grab the snake by the back of the head.
Yeah.
And it is very cool teamwork as Kevin Hart comes in and he snaps off the fangs of the snake to render him.
I guess kills it?
Well, it doesn't kill the snake, but I assume it
just
can't
goes,
ever eat.
Limp immediately.
Yeah, it leaves the story. It faded away once that
I think
happened.
they defang snakes all the time in captivity.
Do they?
Yeah.
But then they have to feed it, right? Then it can't kill anything.
Yeah, they have to feed it somehow. I don't know how that works. I think
if you just throw 'em
snakes
an
just
animal.
eat whole things.
Yeah,
They don't really care about chewing.
they don't really care about. Well, I know they're not big chewers. What I'm saying is they need their fangs to kill their prey.
Maybe. Well, they subdue the snake nonetheless, and inside the basket, they find a piece of the map. But it's a note, not a piece of the map. It's a note. I didn't write down what the note said.
It's not important. Why would it be? It's not good.
This is where they get chased through the bazaar. But
Yeah, so we have an action.
they
sequence
actually
here.
like start fighting back.
This is where Spencer realizes that he can lay waste to all of the enemy characters.
Yeah.
So that's all he does is just beat the crap out of them, knock them all over.
This is where Van Pelt catches up to them. But somebody comes to their rescue and leads them into the sewers. They cross a plank and jumping crocodiles below.
Yeah, so they are rescued here by a Jonas brother.
Yeah, Nick Jonas.
And he's fine here. He doesn't hinder the movie in any way.
He plays Alex.
Yeah, so he's the other character that's sort of around, and it takes a little while before we figure out everything with him. I think it's a good addition to the film. It gives us a little more backstory.
Mm-hmm.
It was flesh out a few more things. I really think the screenplay is really well laid out. I know I've said that a couple of times, but I think when this character enters, like you get a moment to breathe and you find out a little bit more about the world. And by the way, how screwed is this guy? He has a weakness to mosquitoes in a jungle environment.
No kidding, right?
Yeah, like that is like the worst weakness you could have. Like venom, sure, man, venom will kill you, but mosquitoes don't always kill you.
Alex leads them out of the jungle and they go back to his place. And it's Alan Parrish's old hut.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was about to say it's actually not his place because it actually has Alan Parrish's name in there. And there's even a line, this is my house, this is Alan Parrish's house, I'm just living in it.
Yeah.
And it's a nice throwback and reference to the original film of him being stuck there for 20 some odd years, even though technically the game erases. And well, I'm going to let it slide because, he does go back in time and erases everything.
Yeah.
But we'll say the world of Jumanji remains unchanged no matter what.
Yeah, we'll just go with it.
It's fine. I don't really care.
Eventually, they think Alex is the missing piece, the thing that they need to get out of Jumanji.
Which would be weird because if you played with all 5 people, how are you going to have a missing piece puzzle if you're already all there?
Way to ruin everything.
I'm just saying, like as a nitpick, like, well, how can it be a missing piece puzzle? What if he was there? It doesn't make any sense. But it does in this context of the film.
Mm.
So Meredith's giving me a look to let it slide, and I won't. 1 star.
Wow. Bethany, they come up to a couple of guys that are guarding the entrance to what they need to get to. They need to get to this big shed that has something for them.
Airplane hangar.
Yeah, that has, well, it's got other things in it.
It does have but they need a plane. So
Yeah.
let's just call it an airplane hangar.
They need transportation.
They let's call it a transportation hangar then. Does that make you feel better? There's a big building that's got, some sort of transportation devices. Some of them fly, some of them don't. I don't know.
There could be tons of buildings out there full of cars and other things that you use for transportation.
That's true. There could be. But in this movie, there's an airplane hangar, and that's where the guards are guarding.
Whatever. Bethany wants Martha to go distract the guys with her sexy ways.
So I think this is also one of the movie's better gags.
Yeah, it's Bethany trying to teach Martha how to be sexy, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, Jack Black doing this and Karen Gilliam failing miserably at all of these.
Mm-hmm.
The scene with the two of them playing off each other is hilarious and works really well. Even on this rewatch, I chuckled quite a bit, and I got some real laughs from this together. And the apex of it is when they decide to send her off, and immediately, like, how Karen Gillian is walking.
Yeah.
like what? Like Spencer's like, what's wrong with her legs? she get hurt. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one thing that we missed during this. It's that the Jonas brother, he says like, oh man, they're going to think she's fly. And he starts throwing in a bunch of 90s lingo, even though his 90s lingo doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I had to Google it. I did. Because he goes, oh yeah, they're going to get jiggy with it. I was like, sir, you left in 1996. I am fairly certain Getting Jiggy With It did not come out by then.
Yeah.
I was right. It's late 97, early 98 is when that song hits.
Mm.
So 1 star.
Wow.
Holding.
Nitpick.
0 stars.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just saying.
About me not having fun.
But it's something I wanted to mention is that he kind of throws this weird 90s slang out there for this joke to work when he was like a metalhead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just don't think like he would have used that 90s slang because I never would have referred to anything as fly.
I never did either.
Yeah, I
maybe
would.
tight.
Yeah, tight.
That's
tight,
right.
yo.
I think I did say
Yeah.
tight, but
Might have said dope.
yeah.
Might have said something was dope. I might have referred something being the bee's knees, even the cat's pajamas, if you will. But never fly or refer to anyone having sex as getting jiggy with it. So the 90s lingo doesn't really work, but we just have to have it so he can be bluntly told that he's been in the game for 20 years, which is actually a funny reveal because as Spencer's trying to find a way to do it, Fridge immediately says, you've been here for 20 years, you know? And it's like, that's not how I would have said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, even when this movie does a more serious beat here, and this is a serious beat because it has repercussions on the character throughout the running of the film.
Spencer basically vows to get him home
Yeah.
because he gets real sad.
Yeah.
Martha tries to be sexy and is failing miserably, but it's so hilarious. The whole scene.
What I really like is it's completely unimportant because like they're NPCs. They don't have penises.
Yeah.
They're not going to like get excited by this whole endeavor. She just eventually just has to dance fight them.
Yeah.
That's all that occurs.
Music comes on. She realizes.
What's the song? Oh, baby, I love you way. That's right.
Yeah.
What song is that? I want to be with you night and day. Night and day, baby. What is that? Tell me what that song is, Meredith.
I don't know the name of it, but I know of it.
You know of it.
I know of it.
You know of it. You're aware of.
Are you looking it up?
No, I'm not. I'm not stalling. I'm not slowly speaking to stall for time. That's not what I would do at all. I would never do such a thing as that.
Waterbrick. It is Baby I Love Your Way by Peter Frampton. You have to look it up like Meredith.
Good job.
You have to literally type in Google, ooh, baby, I love.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
I just typed in Jumanji soundtrack listing.
No, you got it.
And it did me wrong. Give me the original soundtrack, which I didn't want. I was just like, welcome to Jungle 4. The chase. Like, what doesn't make sense?
Well, she starts dance fighting and destroys the men.
Yeah, she really does lay waste to him. And the dance fighting is just, there's some music on in the background. She's doing some kung fu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there really should be more dancing in the dance fighting.
The others basically are inside looking for an escape vehicle.
And they don't find it.
They think they are going to escape in a helicopter, but who will fly it? They convince Alex to fly it.
Yeah, he kind of freaks out for a minute in this non-hangar.
Which he has one life left, so I understand that.
Yeah, he's really worried that once he's over, like, that's just it. He's just dead.
And
We don't know if it just spits you back out. For all we know, like, he just could have died another time and just, he's back in 96.
The biker guys show back up, and they shoot a missile at the helicopter to bring it down. But they don't exactly bring the helicopter down. They're kind of stuck at, like, flying at a low level.
Yeah, it damages the helicopter, and it can't gain altitude anymore. So Spencer has to climb out and try to, like, reattach this one part to the rotors.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're being chased by albino rhino.
Yeah, there is a stampede only a few feet beneath them. They're flying so low, the rhinos are able to kind of hit the
copter.
Let's say the chopper. Does anybody call it a copter?
I do.
Yeah, I'm going to call it a helo. How about that, huh? We'll go the other way.
I think copter's just fine.
Okay. The helicopter, full name. Stop. Dirk, give it the respect.
Copter.
No, you will not introduce this new term into the lexicon. I refuse. So the helo, pardon me, this flying device, Spencer's able to climb on top, and he's actually finally able to get it to reattach, and they do go back up. But during this whole time, we forgot to mention that Fridge got drunk.
Yeah.
And he dropped
margaritas.
Yeah, he got dropped. That's what's his face's special ability. He makes great margaritas. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, he got drunk off those margaritas, and he drops the gem. The whole reason we're in Jumanji.
Yeah.
And so we have to have an action sequence of trying to get it back. And it's Spencer showing some pretty good initiative. He plays a little ruthless, but it is good initiative.
Yeah, he uses Fridge as bait to get the jewel back.
Kicks him right out of there, and they go down and get it.
They land the helicopter, but Alex is down. Not to worry, but Bethany gives him one of her lives.
Yeah, he comes right out and gets stung by a mosquito.
Yeah.
Oh, and we did miss the 90-degree spin of when Spencer catches Fridge coming back in on the respawn.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty cool little moment. Yeah, this does lead with him getting a mosquito bite, which once again, worst weakness ever. He goes down and the CPR gives him another life, which is actually pretty cool. I like that scene.
Mm-hmm. Alex talks to Bethany and they get to talking. Spencer and Martha tell each other that they are into each other finally, and they have a moment.
Yeah, they have the world's most awkward kiss.
And then it goes to nighttime and a path lights up before them. And then Spencer gets eaten by jaguars, and he's now down to one life.
Yeah, the movie's drawing quickly towards its finale.
Spencer looks to Fridge for advice. The guys on the bike show back up, but Martha dance fights.
Same song again, more Peter Frampton.
Mm-hmm, she gets her leg snagged by one of the bikes, but Spencer comes to her rescue. And then the jaguars chase Spencer, so these jaguars are after him.
Yeah, though these are being controlled by Van Heusen.
He encircles the jaguars in fire and escapes. Spencer goes for the jaguar and finds Van Pelt with Bethany.
Oh, Van Pelt, not Van Heusen. I think Van Heusen's a brand of clothes at Sears.
I was wondering what you were talking about. I think I bought you Van Heusen before.
Yeah, I think you have. You've seen the softer side of Sears, is what we've learned here today.
Well, I'm old school.
That's right. You're very old school.
Van Pelton has Bethany and he wants the jewel. Martha finds the jewel surrounded by snakes. Van Pelt eventually catches up to her. Martha steps on a snake, so she gets bit.
They immediately miss.
Yeah, her weakness is venom.
Oddly, most humans' weakness is venom.
Yeah.
So that's one's pretty typical.
She comes back and hands off the jewel to Spencer, who puts it in the eye of the jaguar.
No, she doesn't just come back. Like, she spawns in and comes in from the top of the world as he drives up the Jumanji. Well, it's not really a tower. It's a statue.
It's a jaguar head.
So he drives up that thing on the motorbike and catches her and the stone at the last second.
Mm-hmm. And they all shout Jumanji, and poof, Nigel shows up and congratulates them. He makes them disappear back to their lives.
The typical Hollywood stuff. They've all learned a lesson, except for Fridge. I mean, I guess he's a little more humble, but for the most part, he doesn't really have a character journey. Mm-hmm. Everyone else does, though.
They run back into Alex, who is Colin Hanks.
Get Colin Hanks.
Colin Hanks.
Yes, I don't know why you had to say like Colin Hanks. Send more Colin Hanks.
They all hang out with each other at school. Martha and Spencer make out, and the movie's all over. Really?
Oh, we rolled through that really quick. It is a little bit weird that the four of them just kind of roll on Colin Hanks, and he's like, "Hey, I know you guys." Like, wait, how do you know them? But I'm willing to let it go because they had a little bit of time left in the movie. But everybody learns a lesson. It's a fun film. It is inconsequential and light, but it is fun. It is just a good movie to watch and put on the background.
I enjoyed it immensely. Yeah. I want to watch the sequel.
Yeah, I think these are two really good movies. Jumanji was really lucky to get a reboot of this quality, and oddly enough, it ends up being one of The Rock's better movies. And that really means something because The Rock hasn't made a lot of shit, but a lot of his films are mediocre or just above mediocre. Mm-hmm. And this movie is far better than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you ready for some facts? Now, the facts weren't all that great, but
I'm ready.
Found some. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart are known for their intensive workouts, but it was Karen Gillan whose character is an expert in various martial arts and dance fighting. who did the most extensive work with the stunt team to learn the first choreography for her scenes.
I'm not surprised because, like I said, she does have the major fight scene. So it makes sense that she would be the one that would have to get all the schooling to actually know how to do that. And it looks good on screen. It does.
Yeah. She obviously worked really hard.
Yeah.
Jack Black jokes that he was not acting in the scenes with his character, was infatuated with Dwayne Johnson. He was, in fact, actually infatuated, and the cameras just kept on rolling.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. No, all that stuff works really well. Yeah. Some of the better movies, better.
I imagine
jokes.
Seeing The Rock in person, like up close, like is daunting because he's so big.
Yeah.
He's tall and he's big.
Yeah, he's 6'4".
Yeah. Just a mountain of a man.
Yeah. A man of a mountain.
To film the albino rhino sequence, the cast spent days harnessed into a full-size, customized helicopter mounted on a special effects gimbal rig, elevated 20 feet in the air.
They should have shot it for real. Real rhinos. Real helicopter.
I don't think they could get rhinos to stampede.
Sure they could. Just go pure Landis.
Mm.
You never go full Landis.
No, we learned that.
Yeah, you never go full Landis.
When the trailers first came out, you touched about this on earlier in the podcast.
The show. Yeah.
Ruby's outfit created some controversy. Karen Gillan admitted that the costume was too sexual, but believes that was the point. She wouldn't have done the movie and worn the costume if there was no purpose attached to it, and a different actress would have been cast as the Avatar anyways.
Avatar. It really did create a stink early on. Like, this was a nasty thing about it, but there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
And this helped get the movie's name out there. There wasn't a lot of people excited about a Jumanji reboot, and this helped people know what it was and certainly helped with the opening numbers. And I think it being a good movie, it made it have legs, but you never know what helps that initial opening weekend, which is still very important.
When Spencer has his big fight with all the goons, they attack one at a time. This is intentional, as most games and movie enemies attack one at a time, despite the fact they can easily attack all at once and overwhelm them. It's a clever gag.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not so much poking fun at it as it is the cliche.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever.
Well, I'm just saying.
Jesus.
Wow, I get nitpicky one time and all of a sudden I'm the asshole.
Yeah, because you're nitpicking.
I'm no better than Van Heusen.
Okay. This movie got a 4.6 out of user reviews, 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's pretty well reviewed for a blockbuster.
Believe it or not, I found a 1-star review.
I don't doubt that. I'm sure there's somebody that hates this laying on me.
A lot of the people that hated this movie loved the original.
Of which this movie is not like that at all.
Mm.
And it's not about a board game and those hijinks in the real world.
Yeah, that's the reason why
It's a lot of video game jokes. I can understand if you were a board game aficionado.
The title of this review is So Painful to Watch. It is so cliche and formulated. Every note is so carefully, overly crafted. You say this and then you say that. Everything feels wooden and inauthentic. The original wasn't great, but fun entertainment and stuck to the book. Each character is the millennia caricature with cutesy moments they spent months writing. I didn't see one spontaneous moment in the entire film. They took the cast of Breakfast Club and stuck it in Jumanji, and they made sure they got every racial representative in there, not because the original books had it, but because they wanted to get social justice. I feel as annoyed by forced social justice racial diversity as I would if they remade The Cosby Show with Asian, white, and Hispanic actors. The acting is just so bad. The mediocrity that people seem to enjoy today is astounding. The movie made 0 sense, and 0 is all capitalized. So they made sure they explained it, laying it out in lazy expositions. When you have to explain everything you're writing, it's poorly done. Show, don't tell. The CGI was horrible. Hate.
Yeah, I started to tune out when he started to complain about, they have to have a black kid and a white kid and an Asian or whatever,
Yeah.
I never really thought about that element of the film, really.
That's because you wouldn't. You're not a racist.
Well, I mean, we talk about forced diversity and stuff like that when a character is there for just like a token.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, I'm a gay character. Hello, everybody. Like when someone is there for that. And that's not really what this was. They were just characters. They were actors picked to play a role, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So at least that's all I ever saw about it. That guy had a lot of hate flowing through his veins. Mm-hmm. Sadly, we can't get a professional opinion on it because it came out in 2017. And Roger Ebert was very much dead in 2017.
Mm.
So he did not review this film, but I think he would not have enjoyed it.
I don't think you don't think he wouldn't have liked the comedy?
I don't think he would have liked. He didn't like the original movie, so I don't think he would have liked this one either.
Yeah, but it's better than the original.
Yeah, it is. But I still don't think he would have enjoyed this film.
Mm.
Yeah, it does have some issues, but once again, I think those issues can be ignored in like good fun.
Mm-hmm.
But those aren't the things that Roger Ebert would be like. Yeah, those don't matter. They do. I think Ebert just probably wouldn't have enjoyed the movie. At least that's just my opinion.
Mm.
But who knows?
Well, that's it, folks.
Yeah, we will not be covering Zathura, and we won't do Jumanji: The Next Level, even though we should watch Zathura. It's very good. And Jon Favreau directed it. You like Jon Favreau?
I do.
Yeah, see? You like him more than you like Alex Garland for some reason.
Who's Alex Garland?
He's the one you hate who directed Ex Machina and Annihilation.
Yeah, I don't really like that movie.
I really like both those films.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree.
We'll agree to go fuck yourself.
I didn't say that, you did.
Okay, well, go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, hey.
This marriage is falling apart.
It is. Flipping the table. Phew. I have no idea what we're going to do next week. Maybe Death Wish. Maybe not. Who knows?
I thought you had already decided.
I have, but we can always change. We have changed. We've changed topics as we've started one movie before. Remember?
No.
We had to drop a movie one time because we realized the reboot wasn't on streaming anymore.
Mm.
And so we switched it up at like the 11th hour. But yeah, no, either way, we'll be back next week. We're going to talk about more reboots, most likely.
Yeah, we'll have some more fun then.
All right, guys.
Hasta luego.
I was going to say something to end the show, and then you just like, hasta luego. And you know what? Fuck it. That's the best way we can end this sumbitch.